Visual thinking starts with capturing ideas. And this is one of the areas that MindNode really excels. The application just gets out of your way and lets you capture your ideas as they come to you.
MindNode calls this quick entry, and it's really important. Getting ideas out of your head and into your MindNode diagram is important. The trouble is that most software gets in your way of quickly getting those ideas out of your head.
Think bigger about a project, and that's by not putting constraints on yourself. Part of the constraints are your input system, and MindNode eliminates that for you. Let me show you how. When you open a new document in MindNode, it's just a blank canvas for you to work with. I've got this new MindNode document open, and I'm going to make it for a new business that I've been wanting to make forever. It's going to be called Superhero Clothiers. Let's say this is a dream I've had to make this business for a long time, and I'm just getting started brainstorming how I'm going to pull it off. Well, the first thing I know I'm going to need with this business is product development, so I'll add a branch for that. But let's say while I'm first getting started, I really don't have things figured out yet, and I'm talking to some friends, and one of them gives me a great idea. She says, you really need to research spandex technology. That's a good point. So I need to add it to this MindNode document here for me. So I'll go ahead and do that. I'm just going to tap anywhere in the document and write the idea. Like I said, I don't know where that fits yet, but I've got it now on the page somewhere. And while we're talking, somebody else says, you're going to need to do manufacturing as well as development. So I say, okay. So I'll go ahead and tap on the main idea and hit the little plus sign and add product manufacturing. So I've got a few ideas written down. And the nice thing about MindNode is you can just drag them around the screen and do things with those ideas to help your brain try and figure it all out. Maybe while I'm looking at this, I realize that researching spandex technology is part of my product development. So I'll just take that idea and drag it over the top of the research tab, and you can see it just made a little subheading for researching spandex technology, and now it has a home. The whole idea here is to let your mind just run wild with this and start developing ideas as they come to you. As you start getting more familiar with MindNode, you'll discover that capturing ideas is super easy. For instance, the application has some great keyboard tricks to quickly add new entries. Let's say that in our brainstorming session, someone reminds me that if this company is going to stay in business, it's going to have to make money and market to customers. So I realize we need marketing. If I just go to the end of the product manufacturing node and I hit return 3 times, then it automatically creates a new node for me at the same level. So I'll go ahead and type in marketing. Now I've got the marketing node. And while we're talking about marketing, I realize a couple things. Number one is we're going to have to sell these things on the internet. So I'll go ahead and now hit the space bar 3 times. And that just created a new node underneath marketing. So I'll go ahead and type internet. And while I'm thinking about marketing in addition to internet, I think superheroes like to get their mail. So we're going to do mail order too. So I'll just hit the return key 3 more times and create a new node for mail order marketing. That's not the only way to add new nodes to your MindNode diagram. Using these 3 buttons on the top of the keyboard, you can also add nodes. Use the left button to create a new node, the middle button to create a sibling node, which is equal to the node you're currently working, and the right button to create a child node, which is one underneath the current node. As you can see, the only thing holding me up there was my brain coming up with the ideas. Once you get these buttons and keyboard shortcuts underneath your fingers, it is really easy to add new nodes while you're doing quick entry with MindNode. Now, so far we've been talking about using MindNode with typing on the glass, but if you've got an attached keyboard with your iPad, MindNode has got some tricks for you there too. I just attached my iPad to the smart keyboard, and when I did that, the keyboard left the screen, so I can use the keyboard now, but I can still use those keyboard shortcuts from the attached keyboard, and these 3 buttons that allow me to do it with the tap of a button also are still on the screen. So if I want to add a new node below the existing one, I just tap the center button, and you can see it automatically created one for me. So let's say I'm going to do marketing with retail distribution. I'm good. MindNode has additional keyboard shortcuts when the iOS version is attached to an external keyboard. Just hold down the Command key to get a listing of those shortcuts.
MindNode actually has a ridiculous amount of keyboard support. If you use it on your iPad with a connected keyboard, hold down this Command key often so you can see all the options available to you.
Now I'm going to disconnect it from the keyboard and bring up the built-in keyboard, and then dismiss it by hitting the keyboard button in the lower right corner.
Looking at the lower right corner, you can also see the full screen button. If I tap that, it's going to bring on the inspectors and tools.
Thus far in the screencast, you'll note that MindNode has automatically laid everything out, so it's really clean and tight. Maybe when you're brainstorming, you don't want it so clean and tight. You can change that from these controls. You just go to the Format control and drag down, and you can see right now it is manual layout is turned off. I'll go ahead and turn it on. And now I can do whatever I want with these nodes, dragging them all over the screen. And MindNode will keep them that way for me. This actually helps me sometimes when I'm brainstorming, getting ideas where things fit. If I don't like that, I can just turn off the manual layout by throwing that switch again, and you'll see MindNode cleans everything up. And when I did that, you saw it also displayed what we call the infinite canvas. MindNode has the ability to go beyond the edges of your screen, which makes it really nice when you want to work on a specific part. Let's say if I just want to work on the marketing plan, I could put it on manual layout, and I could drag that down on the screen and just kind of blow that up and just have that on my screen at once. There's an entirely separate screencast on how to organize your documents using MindNode, so there's a lot on that coming later. For now, I'll turn manual layout back off so everything is once again nice and clean.
And just a couple more points while we're doing quick entry. The first is you don't have to do quick entry in the application. You can also do it in the Notification Center widget.
Here I am on my home screen. I'm going to go ahead and pull down from the top of the screen and swipe to the right, and you can see I have the MindNode widget open right there. From here, I can open a new MindNode document, and you can see it just went in and started a new document for me. Or I can
enter quick entry mode. From here, I can just start typing quick entries.
So let's say I'm sitting down eating a taco and just start thinking about the types of testing rooms I'm going to need for my superhero clothiers business. And a couple ideas come to me right away. Rather than going to the application, I just go into the Notification Center, open this brainstorming widget, and just type these ideas in. When I'm done, all I have to do is tap Create Mind Map in the upper right corner. And just like that, it creates a new MindNode document based on that information.
I also find quick entry really easy on the iPhone. Let me show you.
So now I'm over on my iPhone using MindNode and using that infinite canvas. And let's say I'm taking a walk and I start thinking about product manufacturing. And I come up with a couple ideas. The first is that I'm going to need a way to acquire materials. So we'll have a branch for that. And we're also going to need a sewing department. Now I could hit the return key 3 times like I did before, or I could just hit this little icon on the left side of the screen and it'll drop down and give me another branch. And I'll type sewing department.
Okay, I've captured those ideas on my iPhone. Now I can finish my walk, but later I'll go back to my Mac to finish this quick entry. Here I am on the Mac getting ready to do some quick entry on my Mac. The first thing you'll note is that the application looks almost identical on the Mac as it does on the iOS, and that's intentional to make it easy for you to get working in MindNode, making your quick entries and getting those thoughts out of your mind and into the software. So let's add a new node for engineering at the same level as product development. I'll go ahead and select product development and hit the return key, and now I can add engineering. If I want to add a node underneath that, I just hit the tab key and I can start adding new nodes there as well. Hitting return again, I can add a new sibling node at the same level. If I decide to move a node from one location to another, I just click and drag on it like that. For instance, with the canvas selected, if I want to create a new main node, I just hit Shift Return. And now I've got a new main node that I can write a new idea in. The Mac version has many of the same inspectors as the iOS version. So if I go ahead and select this node, I can open the formatting inspectors and turn it on manual layout. Just like on my iPad, I can then start moving things around to whatever I want. When I'm done, if I turn manual layout off, everything will snap back. One of the nicest features of MindNode is the easy way it shares your data between your iPad, Mac, and iPhone using iCloud as a back-end cloud syncing solution. With this feature, it's easy to create quick entries on any Apple device. Quick Entry is one of MindNode's best features. The application just gets out of the way and lets you collect and organize your ideas.